Hey everyone, welcome to the Fargo 3D Printing Show. Jake Clark and Eric Faldy today. John is actually coming back from a vacation.
Is he on the train right now?
He is, and actually what happened, I got an update from him about 5 to 8 minutes ago that somebody ran the crossing arms, knocked the crossing arms off and then the crossing arms laid across the tracks, the train hit it, broke an air hose, and so supposedly they're just sitting on the tracks right now somewhere in the middle of Montana.
So he's probably not gonna, was he gonna be back at 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon?
2 in the morning on this coming Friday. And so thankfully he didn't derail because I really didn't have time for a funeral this week.
Yeah. So be really quiet around the office.
It would be, and you'd see Eric a lot more. But anyway, so I'm actually going to cover, we're going to cover a bunch of different stuff that happened at
Inside 3D printing.
Yes. So before that though, John and I went to Lockheed Martin. They had an event, and it was really cool to talk to a bunch of different engineers. I can't say very much about the event or who attended it or what we talked about, but it was a really cool thing seeing what went on there. And just to talk to some of the engineers and see what their take was on 3D printing and where they're currently using it and where they want to use it. So we drove to Denver, Colorado, and then from there we shot over to Santa Clara, driving. Keep in mind.
I can't drive like you can.
We had to drive from Denver, Colorado to Santa Clara, all in one shot because we needed to get there the next morning to set up. And so that was an 18-hour haul, and we left Denver at 3 in the afternoon, and we got in at 9 o'clock as the exhibit hall was open.
Oh, I didn't know it was that tight.
Bad news, they didn't even have the carpet down in the exhibit hall.
So we had to wait. You were totally fine.
We had to wait till about 4 o'clock.
Really? So, oh, okay. This was the day before the event.
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me. But so we saw a lot of cool stuff there. So 3D USA, that's what we went as, and we announced beer filament. So what it is it is a beer-based PLA. It is spent grains from the beer making process is what we put into it, and you get this really cool texture. Well, not really texture, but you get this really cool look.
Yeah, the kind of grain.
Yeah, you get the little flakes of grain in it, and you can make beer mugs. This, what Eric was holding up was a beer tap for
like
Fargo Brewing Company. So if you guys make beer taps or design them, you can use this filament to actually make beer taps out of beer. So it's kind of neat.
One thing that we'd like to note, like same with the coffee, is that although you can make a cup with it, it's not necessarily food safe, so we can't necessarily recommend that. Some people look into stuff like coating it with some sort of epoxy or I don't really know, but those things are pretty toxic themselves. But yeah, don't drink right out of it unless you just plan to drink out of it once and call that good, because otherwise bacteria sits in between the layers and could cause a really big problem.
And Ben Bernard actually tried. He took one of our mugs and he actually put liquid in it. And
did it leak?
It did. It leaked about a shot glass of liquid out of. He filled it pretty full.
That one was our first one, and I know that one wasn't sliced very well.
But
that was a
FDM
throwaway.
in general. Yeah. FDM in general has gaps in the parts.
If you had a lot of shells, it might be better.
Yes.
But it would still probably leak into the model itself a little bit. But
it'd wick in there.
Yeah.
So don't drink out of it. It's not FDA approved. We get that question quite a bit about the 3D materials. They are not FDA approved. They're not FDM approved.
yeah.
They are FDM approved. Trust me. We test them on a lot of machines. But yeah, so check it out. It's on the 3D USA website in the C2 composite section. It might be out of stock as of this. We've been selling quite a bit of it. But it should be back in stock soon.
One note about this model in particular, I think John probably sliced the. There were a couple that we had.
We're gonna upload that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if we can. We probably could as a remix.
Yes. Yes, we can do it as a remix.
As long as we're not like selling it, I think we're okay. I'd have to look at their license. But if you want to look up the original, it's called Masskrug, I believe. It's German for something I don't know, but MASSKRUG, I believe. Otherwise, we'll put a link somewhere. But I had some issues with that one. I had to reslice it, and I ended up bringing it into 3D Studio Max and slicing, not slicing. I target welded like everything. So I pretty much welded vertices together because otherwise we had some issues where like some lines were popping up where it just wasn't.
We had a lot on this line, didn't we?
It looked like they were, like in here, it wasn't connecting properly. So I ended up cleaning it up a little bit, and because they had an option where you could put a logo, and I didn't really, it was okay, but for our logo, the Freedom logo, it wasn't a good fit because it was square. So I ended up just doing this myself. But I guess I'll just look into that, and then if it works out, it'll be on the internet. And this one does print pretty well.
Because we can put it up there as a remix, and then we'll put a link to the original Thingiverse file on there. And I believe John might have been talking to the gentleman that created the first one and noted the holes in it.
Yeah,
so
there's some geometry issues, but otherwise it's a very simple design, but it's really effective, and it looks a lot like the actual glass mugs.
No, I mean it's
pretty cool.
The original model is great. I mean,
yeah, the other one had a soccer or football, as they would call it, a sports team. I don't know which one it was off the top of my head, but he had one on there. So if you like that team, it's all done for you. I also made a bottle opener, which I put on Thingiverse because someone was asking about it. I had one. I left it upstairs. I printed about 5 more, but you put a penny in it. I've seen a lot of people do that, and I liked it, and it worked out okay. It's really small, so I actually cut myself one time on a bottle cap because it's just, you don't get a lot of leverage, so you have to hold it funny, and you kind of hold it like this, and it works, but yeah.
Wait, is that your square one you made?
Yeah. So it works. I just wanted it to be really portable.
I tried it today. It worked pretty well.
It works, yeah. I mean, you have to kind of yank on it a little bit. You kind of, a couple passes, and it comes off.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look Thingiverse, just look up buzzed bottle opener, and that should be it. And my face is on there. It's either Super Juice or Eric Faldy, so that's me. Yeah, I think I asked, like, John, is it okay? Like, what name should I put on Thingiverse? Like, oh, whatever. So it's like, okay, whatever.
Yes.
Whatever is that. So.
No, I used it today when we got interviewed. And
who interviewed you guys? I guess
WDOI interviewed us today, so we'll be on the news on their website talking about Buzz. They got some really cool shots, so I'm really interested to see how that video turns out.
I guess if you guys don't know, WDAY is the Fargo affiliate of ABC News. So,
yeah. Well, you know more than I would.
Yeah, ABC.
So back to Santa Clara. We didn't get time to go to any of the speakers, but we did get to kind of walk around the trade show floor, and I have to say, I am excited for Raze 3D's new printer. I saw 3 of them in action, all 3 sizes of them.
Is that R-A-Z-E?
R-A-I-S-E?
Okay, I'm not sure. I just wanted to make sure that I heard that. It wasn't like Raze Barbecue or something.
Barbecue. No, I'm hungry, thank you. Give me a minute here. It is R-A-I-S-E 3D.
I guess just like the verb, so.
Yeah, they have a Kickstarter right now. And there's some other printers that we're going to talk about very soon. I keep alluding to it,
so I think
we'll get to it once John gets back, and we have a little bit more time to do our due diligence and look into it, so we guys give you our best opinion. I know I looked into one, and their updates were very promising.
Are you talking about the ones that we've had people asking?
Yes.
Okay, so we had 2 people specifically ask about the big box. So
I looked into that.
We'll get back to it.
And the comments, and the updates were very impressive.
Very promising.
Yeah, because I'm going to sidetrack here on this. Their updates were like installing laser engravers and laser cutters, and
so something modular.
Well, yeah, because I believe, and I don't want to get into this because I haven't
we'll
done
save it for
full
next time,
research on it yet. But I think they laser cut all their. I'm pretty positive, like 99% positive.
The frame for it. Okay.
But back to Raze 3D. So this is a current Kickstarter, and we saw 3 of these machines in action, and they are amazing. I am excited for this machine. The prints look great. The biggest machine is a 12 by 12 by 24 inch print bed, and they're not sure on retail yet, but it looks very, very promising.
So it's more like a fish tank shape. It's not 24 inches tall, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
And we'll put a picture. We'll put a picture of this on.
Oh no, it is. It's 24 is the Z.
Z. Well,
okay.
Say fish tank.
Well, I was thinking fish tank, like aquarium. Like
no,
it's usually
24.
I got you.
Foot by foot by 24.
I'm not the engineer, so.
Why would you? That's a That's FDM in a long part like that would be kind of, you'd get a lot of warping. Holy crap.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Unless you use build tack or some slurry or something, but.
I didn't think about that. That would be terrible. What kind of resolution does that get? Does it get pretty typical, like
off the top of my head, I think it's like
the 50 microns?
I don't want to. I don't want to say. I don't know off the top.
I know
of
that
my
50 is like probably the best that I usually see.
But the cool part about this is, and we'll keep putting pictures up as we talk about. Is there has acrylic plate over the drive mechanism, so when you see the filament come down, you can actually see it hit the drive gear and the bearing and push through. And it's just, I'm excited for this machine.
Yeah, if there are any issues, you're going to know right away.
It's going to be interesting, and the price point in the Kickstarters are very, very reasonable, to the point of you could get 3 of them for the price of like 2 Cube Pro Duos.
Oh, wow.
Or 4 of these.
That's a big build size too. Yeah. Does it do ABS?
But I would assume so. Okay. I don't know.
All right.
We were busy
really excited about it.
So I knew we had talked about it a little bit before. We heard about it and we had to go check it out. Toy Builder Labs was there, so they're actually in with this project as well. So because there's a shout out to them, and like I said, it is a nice machine. I'm not sure how they're going to handle larger spools. I forgot to ask that, but I think they have like a 1 kg spool on there right now.
Okay, so they have a spot where you put it on there already?
Yep, on the side.
Okay.
Formlabs 2 machine was there, took a look at that, some of their materials. Their cartridge system was interesting. I didn't dabble too much with it or look into it and ask too deep of questions.
You guys had stuff to do. You guys had a booth to run.
Yeah, we were switching off and on between us working at the booth and the other ones going out and looking at it. We did, however, get to see the M3D 3D
that little guy.
It's smaller than that. It is like as big as like 2 of these spools right now.
We did talk about that one on the giant cone and small 3D printers episode.
The Type A.
I don't know. Yeah. We talked about the Type A, the new stuff.
Because that's the cone that we're talking about.
the big cone.
But the printer is literally like this big. Like he was carrying it under his arm, and it was like the size of a textbook. And it was really cool though to see it and to see the little cute little spools.
So that was the one that has the stepped Z.
I think
it has the I can't remember exactly, but the higher it gets on the Z, it gets stepped
it goes in. I think so.
Yeah, the X and Y.
I believe.
I think it was that one because we also talked about the what was it? The little acrylic one, the tiny boy.
Yeah.
I
know what you're talking
rebranded.
about.
There is actually, we'll probably talk about this soon, but I saw a comment on that video that I was talking about. Tiny Boy 2 is on Indiegogo.
Ooh.
So it's gonna, I think it's mostly so they can get just more, I don't know, help with distribution and then some injection molded parts, which would usually be 3D printed.
No text mix.
I thought it was that one. Maybe it was the other one.
Features. Could have been the other one. Must have been the other one.
I don't remember.
Must have been the other one. Yeah, because the specifications it doesn't say. It doesn't text back, so I'm assuming not. So,
I don't remember.
But the thing's cute and small.
Yeah, and it's about $350 or something.
$399, right?
Okay.
At least that's what it was at the show. Let me take a look now. It's on the page.
Yeah.
As of this podcast, standard edition is $349. Retail edition is $449. 1-year warranty, retail packaging, and 1 popular PLA filament. The standard 3-month warranty with the $349. They have it currently in clear, black, white, blue, green, orange, and I think they have a bunch of different colors. Color changing PLA.
What size spool is that? Is it a 500?
Half pound, I believe.
Half pound.
I think.
I don't remember.
500
it should say.
Learn more. I asked him and he said, and I couldn't remember.
Okay.
Nope,
I just wants you to buy stuff.
I would. I kind of want to. I need to go buy a new laptop before I buy another printer, but, well, maybe not.
Well, either way, the spool is really small. It actually sits underneath the build plate.
Yeah.
We talked about it before. If you want to know more, it's on one of the earlier episodes.
Put a link.
Yeah.
Giving you more work to do. Put a link. And make sure it's clickable this time.
I've been lazy about the annotations, so I'm sorry.
So viewers, it's his fault. I have to send the hate mail to him.
I put all that work in on the end part, and then I forget about
Fargo, North Dakota. And even if the camera goes out today, it's gonna be your fault again.
Yeah, that's good so far. As long as we don't talk too long.
But let me go back to my phone here so I can kind of page.
So Raise 3D, M3D. So
those were the two that I really looked at. Lulzbot was there. Got to chat with those guys, know them pretty well. Zmorph was there. They have an interesting machine where you can actually change out different heads to a CNC router, to a chocolate, to a regular 3D printer, to I think a laser engraver head. I think they have like 12 different heads. So it's an interesting machine, interesting design. So I've heard some people working with it. I heard that their software is a little bit more complicated. But either way, it was a really interesting machine. But other than that, I mean,
so I guess since we haven't gone to a lot of trade shows this year, but
no, we have not.
What would you compare Santa Clara this year to last year?
I would say the floor was a little bit bigger. Attendance was lower. I will be honest about that. Was a little bit slower than last year. I'm not sure if it was because the location was the same or if there wasn't as much outreach. But there was a lot more exhibitors, and there's a lot more filament manufacturers.
Okay.
But there was a lot more exhibitors, a little bit less on the attendees. But
at least on the floor. I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Like with
it could have been packed more. I don't know the exact
with
numbers
the speakers and whatnot.
But you know, maybe they didn't have enough networking breaks to have people come to the floor. So the first day was pretty busy, and then the second day it was a little bit less. $3 for a can of pop. That was a little bit ridiculous.
I don't know. That's not that surprising. Wait, a can?
A can.
Oh, okay. I was like, I paid $4.25 for a bottle.
Leapfrog was there.
Okay.
And was talking with those guys, and we actually gave them a spool of coffee, and it ran beautifully.
Okay.
So if you Leapfrog, it can work in it. It is tested. And it was actually kind of cool because they were right kind of next to us, and people were like, "Oh, does it actually smell like coffee?" And it does. But we had a Lulzbot Mini, open air.
Sure.
There's a decent amount of airflow there. I said, "Well, you can't really smell it by the Lulzbot Mini, just because it was such a big area." They went over to the Leapfrog machine, stuck their nose up against the chamber, and they could smell it. And it was great because you know, to see our material working on other printers that we haven't tested in-house. But it was cool to see that.
It's just hard. There are so many printers. Like we were talking about this, how FDM, there are so many.
There's 400 plus mom and pop shops that are doing it and small startups. And it's awesome because a lot of them have unique stuff to them and a lot of unique print qualities or print specifications. But for us to try and get all of them and test them would be a very a feat in of itself.
Yeah, we'd go bankrupt before we got through 100 of those printers.
We need a bigger shop than that. But Up Plus was there as well. Took a look at that. There was do you remember who the toy maker company was?
I didn't know much about that.
So there's a toy making company, and they have some really cool stuff. That they 3D print, and they're toys, and it's just really, really cool stuff. John would know the company.
Is that a case where they're trying to
Insane Toy?
Insanatoy.
Insanatoy. There you go. Reimaging the future of fun. So insanatoy.com. INSANITOY. We'll put a link in there, and it was just really cool to see some of the stuff that they've made and printed. So
do they sell the 3D printed part, or do they sell the model that you would print yourself? Yeah, and I'm asking the questions.
You are asking the questions, and
that was the plan anyway. I didn't have a whole lot to say.
He's a quiet man.
I don't know. It's just no voice today.
Gotta quit yelling at the NDSU games.
Yeah. Santa Toy.
So I think you buy
It really looks like the Toy Story logo almost.
It does.
That might be what they're going for. What is that
Printed, fully assembled. I'm not sure.
That looks like a resin.
Not sure.
Okay.
But
Cool
so you
stuff
can buy
anyway.
I mean, they got some really neat stuff in here, and they do the Ninja Flex hand.
With the bones inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they got T-shirts. But anyway, check them out. Anything cool? They got a lot. Well, I think they got a lot of cool stuff. It's kind of like when you go to a flea market or a craft fair. There's always the one guy, at least in this area, that has like the wooden toys. And when I was a kid, that was the thing to go to, and you'd stay there for hours as your mom walked around and looked at different stuff. But this is kind of the same, but with plastic. So it was getting me excited when we were there. I was enjoying it. But other than that, with Santa Clara, there wasn't a whole lot. Like I said, we didn't go to a lot of the speakers at all. I did sit next to somebody from 3D Systems in the metal side and learn some really cool stuff about the metals. Maybe we'll have to talk about that at some other point.
So this is laser sintering.
Laser sintering, direct metal laser sintering.
Yep.
DMLS.
That sounds right.
Well, interesting thing with 3D Systems now, their CEO, Ollie or whatever his name was, stepped down.
Really?
Wednesday the 28th.
Oh, wow.
He stepped down, and
I didn't know that.
yeah, I just saw that.
Was that like a surprise for the people that work there? Or, so I mean, I don't read their blogs or anything.
It was. I mean, to me, it was interesting and kind of a surprise to me. I mean, it is and it isn't. 3D Systems has been kind of on the downhill with their stock prices.
Downswing.
Yeah, with their I can't type and talk at the same time. I'm not that great. They've been kind of on the down low with their reports and stuff, and wow, this is interesting. Anonymous source from 3D printing industry says 3D Systems to shut down Andover facility. So we might cover 3D Systems a little bit more coming next.
Yeah, I didn't know that. It's crazy.
So there might be some ripples in this. I know their Cube Pro machines, great hardware, software, guys. Software needs to be there. That is my biggest complaint, and I will be honest with you on that. But come on, slow. Yeah, Avi steps down.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So I mean, it has to, I didn't read too much into the article, but just from a 10,000 foot level, it has to be because of the kind of where everything is going. And if you guys have thoughts on that, put them in the comments. Love to hear what you guys think of that news as of October 29th, 28th on that. So be interesting to see what happens to 3D Systems. They were not present.
Okay.
They were not present at Santa Clara. So. I think we were actually the only ones last year as Fargo 3D with a Cube Pro. So
it didn't come out this year.
MakerBot 5th gens were there. We had one, and somebody else did as well. Actually, there's 3 or 4 5th gens there.
Okay. We also had the See Me CNC with us.
We did. We had the See Me CNC, and we had the Lulzbot Mini. We had a Zortrax machine. Not showing, but we had one with.
Yep.
And then MakerBot 5th gen. Yeah.
Sounds right.
We puzzled that all into the Ford
The back of the Ford, yeah.
4,000 plus miles of driving, 4 days in a car. That was fun. But that's kind of what happened at Santa Clara. I think the next trade show that we will be attending as not exhibitors, but just walking the show as visitors will be CES. And I think we're bringing the entire crew with us this year.
I'm dead set on going, so.
Well, you just need to work more hours. Make sure the camera's not quitting or blurry.
It's still going.
So anyway, I think we're gonna bring our whole team with, so it's gonna be awesome. I think we're gonna get some on site interviews.
I hope so, yeah, that'd be cool.
I know Toby C. Wood was at Santa Clara and talking about he went around and interviewed a bunch of people. So 3D print 3D printing today, I believe. Let me double check. I want to make sure, and we'll put this in there. They have a really great podcast. I've listened to it quite a bit. 3D printing today. And I think they're changing who they host with. 3D printing today. Yes, 3D printing today podcast, and they do a lot of different stuff, and they cover some really interesting stuff. And some of the stuff that let me see here. Give me a second. I'm gonna trail off.
Saying something. Hopefully, it's just saying, "Hey, we're making a second file."
It's stopped automatically. Your recording has been stopped automatically.
Oh no!
I'll go up and see what happened.
Let the unclip here.
Movie recorded has been stopped automatically.
Oh, I got too hot.
Well, audio's still running. So, Eric, you're not going to CES this year. Yeah. I guess not. You're going to have to stay here. But anyway, they talk about a lot of cool stuff. It's two guys that know a lot of different stuff in the 3D printing industry, and one of them actually has a handful of machines and is working on some really, really cool stuff. So check out their podcast, check out some of the work they've done, and anything, Eric, on the camera there?
Let's see, that was a picture. There we go.
Good.
Oh, I just bumped it.
I swear. After you shot the buzzed video, and now you're doing this.
The bar has been lowered.
Ooh, we need to talk about that right there.
Okay.
Yeah, I flip that. Never mind. You're good. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Eric? That you've kind of heard?
Just 1 second.
Before we sign off here for the day.
So we printed. It's Halloween this weekend. We didn't have a whole lot of time to print stuff. Just our printers were super busy. But I printed this little skeleton guy. I can't remember who off the top of my head designed it, but it came off like this and articulated arms and legs. So if you want to get spooky, little skeleton guy. Yeah, we're printing a pumpkin with actually our transition filament.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out. It might be kind of cool. So I really liked the one we had last year, but I think you ended up giving it to somebody. So
I think my mother.
Yeah, I don't know where it went.
I think I really did. I think I gave it to my mother.
Not the worst place.
I'm gonna be mad if she doesn't put it out this year. I'm gonna be livid. But yeah, so check out our Facebook page while we go through Halloween here. We're gonna have a lot of cool stuff. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot else.
I can't really think of anything. Else, I guess I just know we'll get to. There are a couple printers that we'll be talking about soon. One is the big box. The other one is a small resin-based printer. Somebody was asking about that one. I have it up on my tabs.
We have it in our notes.
Yeah.
We have not forgot about you.
And there was other stuff we needed to talk about, but we
need to talk about the Pirate 3D because that as a whole is very, very interesting. So
I was reading about that too.
Kickstarted Pirate 3D and have not been following the Kickstarter updates. You might want to, or it's on Reddit. I believe John is where he found it.
Very long post.
Yes, but it is worth the read, I heard. But I think he sent it out via email. So if you have back to Pirate 3D, I think you should have gotten an email a while ago. But we'll talk about that coming up. And we'll see what happens with 3D Systems. That'll be interesting to watch how that plays out over the next probably 6 months. Other than that, if you have comments or questions, concerns, put those in the comments down below. If you have suggestions, we do keep track of those, and we will actually talk about them coming up. So put those in the comments.
The last one I remembered, somebody was asking about. I forget what it's called, but it's one of those crate systems, like where you used to, subscription-based monthly thing.
Oh, the Loot Crate stuff. Yeah. Yes.
I can't remember what it's called. It was like Proto Crate, something like that.
I know one of the video games was Loot Crate.
Yeah.
Those are interesting.
Somebody made one for 3D printing, and when I looked at it, it was completely sold out for.
Yeah, you couldn't add.
There was 1.75 and 3 mil, and then you couldn't order one because they were completely sold out and back ordered. And so I mean, I'll look into it a little bit and see if I can find anything, like what kind of stuff you get. Obviously, you get like little tools and stuff. It didn't seem like, at least looking at the, I don't want to get too much into it because we're going to cover it another time, but it said it was $60 worth of stuff, but it's $50 a month. So it's not the best ratio, but I mean, if you're interested in trying new stuff and don't want to shop around on your own, it'd be a great option.
Yeah.
And if that's not the right name, I'll put it down here somewhere. Yeah.
But leave your comments, suggestions. We'll cover those in upcoming shows. But follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us here on YouTube. This is John's thing. This is not me at all butchering this. But follow us on social media. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. If you want a sample of beer filament, it is going to be on filabits.com for samples. I believe in the next week and a half will be available. I don't know what his links are. I think he has weight or links on his website. But it will be there shortly, as well as coffee and I think we have something else that's going to be there as well. I can't remember. But check that out if you want samples, filabits.com. Until next week.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a short one. See you next time.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, you dig for that jerky.
Okay.
Ready? Good to go?
Good. I'll do a clap after you take a sip.